Hello everyone and welcome back to Jeannie's Kitchen and another edition of the Real Foods Culinary Boot Camp. I hope you're getting value out of these videos. I've got another one that I want to share with you on the power of cultured foods and particularly making kefir. And kefir in Turkish means feel good. And it's been shown that the Turks were one of the first cultures to actually incorporate a wider variety of cultures into their milk, which pre-digested the milk, and in doing so those cultures ended up providing some really valuable benefits to the body, certainly helping to improve just your gut ecology. And several of you have mentioned to me that you're trying to move towards a dairy-free diet, so I'm going to show you today a kefir culture that's made with a fresh, organic, young coconut. But I also want to just remind you that in the recipes that you have, you could just as well use a reduced milk, a reduced fat milk, preferably if you could get a raw milk. And you would heat this milk up to 92 degrees. If you've got a thermometer, you could track that real easily. But if any of you have ever raised children, you know that when you would heat up a baby's bottle, you would want to have that milk be something that if you were just to place it on your wrist, it wouldn't feel hot or cold. So just enough so that you're not having a temperature so high that you would kill off the cultures. And what we're going to be using today in making this kefir culture with the coconut is Body Ecology's Kefir Starter Mix. So what I've done is I bought a organic coconut, young coconut, and I found the little soft spot. Usually it's on the bottom side, and I'm going to just turn this over and let it just start letting the juices just pour through the jar. We'll let that go just for a few minutes, and then we'll add the kefir to that, the kefir culture. And you know, this is an amazing liquid. There's been a lot of research done on young coconuts, and one of the things that they found out that's so amazing about it is that it's really got a great variety of naturally occurring minerals that are in it. It's slightly sweet. It's got a lot of potassium. That's why a lot of athletes and people who are working out are using it just as a nice replacement drink to get the electrolytes back into their system. But what we're going to do is just literally add a package of our kefir starter to it. And you're going to have some resources on the Body Ecology system. This kefir starter, there's 6 packets, and one of these packets would be enough to actually make two bottles or 2 quart-sized jars of kefir. So we'll put that in just a moment. We'll just let that continue to empty. It'll take a few more minutes here. Great. So let's turn that up. I've got my package of kefir starter. I'll put that in right like so. And I'm not warming this up. You don't need to warm this up, actually. It's something in which you can get your kefir going just like this. So we're going to just shake it up. Now, here in Southern California, we are actually, the sun did not get the memo that summer has started. It's actually freezing here today. That's why I've got my sweater on. It's been chilly all day. We are actually having unusually cool weather. But nevertheless, in my kitchen, it's still running about 70 degrees. So I can literally just let this sit out on the shelf tonight and for about 12 hours, and it will start culturing. After you're finished with that, you can put that into the refrigerator and it'll continue to culture, but at a much slower pace. It won't have the same texture that you would get if you were making a traditional milk-based kefir, but it would have all the fabulous benefits that you could use if you were wanting to add a little bit of culture starter to when you're soaking your beans or your legumes or your seeds, and you would have a wonderful effervescent drink that will really help your digestion, particularly those of you that suffer from cravings, that suffer from IBS or other kinds of digestive disorders, are wanting to lose weight, would like to improve your regularity. This would be a fantastic drink for you. And so we're going to let this sit out. If it was such that it was cooler, let's say, and you didn't have the warmth that you needed, you could put this, put a towel around it, and you could stick it inside your oven. Don't put the pilot light on though, because that'll be too high. You could just stick it in there, or you could put it into a little case where you at least have it more protected. Perhaps above the refrigerator would be a good place where you're going to have a little bit more warmth that you can count on. So that's the story with our kefir. And by the way, The inside of this coconut, if I want to crack this open, there's a wonderful custard inside of there. And it would take a little bit of time for me to get this open, but I want to just share with you that, let's see if I've got a good knife here. Open this up and pull out some of that delicious custard. So we'll do that in another edition. All right, now I want to show you how to make a cultured cream. And this one is using a slightly different package. We're using the culture starter, and the same one that we use when we are making our cultured vegetables. And this one also is super easy. It's from Body Ecology. It's slightly different cultures than what you find in the kefir, so you're diversifying the kind of friendly probiotics that you have in your gut. And to this we're adding some heavy whipping cream, some organic whipping cream. And what's nice about this particular brand, this Clover brand, is that they don't pasteurize this. They don't ultra pasteurize it. Ultra pasteurization really changes the quality of the proteins in the milk. Now I would love to be able to get raw milk, and my preference would have been to get some wonderful raw cream, but recently in California they've really cracked down on the raw industry, and it's just becoming really unfortunate but very difficult through the politics to be able to get raw cream. So this is the next best that I can offer. It's from cows that aren't treated with any of the growth hormone. And now to that I'm just going to add 1 package of culture starter. And I'm just going to shake that up so that all the cultures are evenly distributed. And I'm going to put this into the same warm area that I'm adding my kefir and let that sit overnight, preferably for about 12 hours. And when you open this up, you're going to see that this cream is really thick. And the benefit of using this cultured cream is numerous. One of the great things is that a cultured cream is way more stable when you're adding it to, let's say, if you sauteed some mushrooms in a little bit of an acid type sauce like wine, you could put a tablespoon of this in and it's not going to curdle up. It's also really great for adding a lovely creamy silky texture to any time you cook a big vegetable soup. Let's say in the process of pureeing it, if you added a tablespoon too of the cultured cream, you'd end up with a really nice texture. Plus you'd be getting the fats, these really precious fats that we know help to make those vegetables more digestible. So another way that I like to use cultured cream is maybe a tablespoon on some berries, just to be able to add some value, or maybe putting another tablespoon of it into my oatmeal in the morning. For those of you that are really worried because you have lactose sensitivity or you're perhaps dairy sensitive, oftentimes starting off with a raw milk, adding these cultures to it, makes it such that many people don't have any kind of the allergic reactions or the sensitivity reactions that they would get if they were using, a standard processed milk. So keep that in mind. Give it a try, and I'd love to hear back on your experiences on working with some of these cultured foods. See you in another edition.